How's it? My name is Andre Weideman, Vitamin to my brothers. My mission is to disciple men to have a daily word and prayer time and to inspire them to return to the old school values of respect, honor, loyalty, chivalry, and love. For of these, love is the greatest. For if I have not love, I am but a resounding gong or a clanging cymbal. And this is your weekly vitamin. How's it, everybody? It's your weekly vitamin. This week's Bible study was Acts chapter 5, verses 17 to 32, I think. It's where Peter and one of the other apostles, I'm not too sure, I think it was John, are arrested by the Sanhedrin and put in jail in the evening. And in that evening an angel comes and releases them and tells them to go back and pray, and go back to the temple and preach. So they do. I mean, you would expect that if you've been put into jail, God will release you from jail and then let you escape. But God doesn't do things that way. So the guys go back to the temple and preach again, being obedient that they are. And then the Sanhedrin gathers in the morning to question them and tells the guys to go and fetch them out of the jail. These guys come back and say, listen, everybody's guarding the jail, but the jail cell's empty. So then they get told that the guys are in the temple preaching, and they go fetch them again. And Peter, and they say, because remember in the previous verses they had told the apostles to stop preaching in this name, to stop spreading the good news of Jesus Christ. And so they tell them, but we told you to stop this. And Peter says to them, as he said to them before, I have to be obedient to God. I have to listen to God and not to man. So the whole thing was about obedience, but obedience to God. And in this week, the Black Lives Matter riots are still continuing all over the world. I see things going on all over the place. So I was going to write a little blog against Black Lives Matter. Or supposedly I was just going to say, how should Christians react to Black Lives Matter? But in all reality, what I wanted to do was just write a hit piece and shout at them. So I started it out saying, how should Christians respond to Black Lives Matter? And before we can do that, let us define the terms. When we say Black Lives Matter, are we talking about Black Lives, the movement, or are we talking about the concept of Black Lives, or any life for that matter? That's how I was going to start the piece. And then I wrote down there, but if I want to write out against, if I want to say what my reaction is going to be to Black Lives Matter, let me really investigate Black Lives Matter, the movement, for myself, without listening to other people's opinions and not filtering it through other people's ideas of what it is, but to listen to what Black Lives Matter, the movement themselves, have to say. But I have to be honest, I did not. So I started investigating Black Lives Matter. But really what I was doing was just looking for points that I could counter points that I could show to and say, look, this is what they are. And they are. I mean, Black Lives Matter, honestly, is not a wonderful organization. It's their leaders are self-professed trained Marxists. They are all inclusive, so they affirm LGBTQ. One of the statements that Patrice makes is, she says that she wanted to start the movement because any other black movement was focused entirely on black cisgender men. So there definitely is an agenda behind the movement, and a lot of the things they stand for are really very counter to any Christian doctrine, any Christian belief. I mean, in one place they say they want to disband the nuclear family, and rather just believe in community. This is all Marxist ideology. So I thought, yeah, I got all my talking points. I'm going to just counter these people now and show how bad they are and how wonderful, how we should as Christians reject them. But then I thought, all right, let me go further and just listen to what the founders have to say in their own words. So I started watching a lot of interviews, a lot of their speeches, and that's when God's Holy Spirit really started convicting me. And he started saying to me, listen to what these people are saying. Listen to what these women are saying. Do you see it? And I thought, do I see what? And then I carried on listening. And the one that really finally opened my eyes is Patrice Colors did a speech for the pioneers. Now I have no idea what the pioneers are, but if I look at the crowd and the way they were talking, it looks like an LBGTQ plus whatever organization. But Patrice was talking, and she's a good speaker. She's a good orator. And at one point she said to them, I want you to close your eyes and imagine something. And she took them through imagining a world where there was no more fear, no more lies, people could access their own healing, all kinds of things. And while she was talking, I thought to myself, hang on, I don't have to imagine this world. I know that this world is coming. The Bible talks about the new earth and the new Jerusalem, the new earth, where there will be no more tears. There won't be no more heartache, pain, sickness, brokenness. I mean, she's talking about heaven. She's talking about living eternity with God. Now, I don't think she meant it that way. She's talking about the Marxist utopia. But God said, are you seeing it now? And I realized in her heart was a longing. There's obviously been some hurt in her past. She grew up, she says, as a single child. But when asked, her father was in the house. So I really don't know what happened in her life. But there is obviously hurt there. And there's a longing in her heart, and that's when I realized what God was trying to tell me. This blog is not to be against Black Lives Movement. This blog is to be looking into the heart of all of us and seeing that we all, every single one of us, has a God-shaped hole in our hearts. We all are yearning for God. Some people may just not realize that, but they know. Everybody is yearning for something. Everybody is looking for peace. Everybody is looking for security. Everybody is looking for love. Some people are looking for it
in a Marxist ideology. Some people are looking for it in the in tree hugging climate. I mean, idolizing the earth because they think the earth will nourish them. Everybody is searching and yearning for something. I used to be like that. I used to do all kinds of things because I was longing. I drink like a fish, watch pornography all the time because I felt there was a yearning in myself for something better. But if you try and fill that God-shaped hole with anything but God, it's going to go south. It's going to go bad very quickly. And and you continue and harden in that search, not just denying the existence of God and trying to fill that hole with the world. It's just, you cannot love God and the world. You're either going to love God or you're going to love the world. And the world is a harsh, horrible, nasty, evil taskmaster. God, on the other hand, is a loving God. That if we follow Him, if we yearn to fill that hole with Him, that's where we get that peace. We will not ever achieve heaven on earth. But God's bringing heaven. At the moment we are going through a period of birth pains. I mean, Jesus told us. He said you'll hear wars and rumors of wars. Do not fear these things. Do not worry. These are but the birthing pains of the new earth. It's coming. That which Patrice was trying to have everybody imagine, it's coming. And it's coming with the Lord. So, I am no longer going to talk out against anything in this world. Because I don't want to be known as, oh, he stands against something. He stands against abortion. He stands against BLM. He stands against racism. No, I want to be known as he stands for. I stand for Christ. And within the church community, I will use the sanctified common sense that God's given me. I will use the Bible to edify and build up people. And I will use the Bible to correct people within the church or faith community, because that's what the Bible tells us to do. It says correct a brother, and accept correction yourself, so that you do not lose your brother. But outside of the faith community, outside the church, we are, and I will from now on, treat people as broken human beings that are yearning for God. And I'm not going to show them, I'm not going to be able to show them the God that I love, that is so gracious and awesome, by spouting hate at them, or by telling them how they should be living. No, I'm just going to tell them about Christ. I'm going to listen to the deep hurts, and I'm going to ask the Spirit to show me where their pain really is. Now, we may all, as Christians, really feel uncomfortable in the presence of people who don't believe, atheists, or in the presence of people that follow a different God than what we do. But we cannot shout out at them. We cannot judge them. What we can do and what we should do is show them the love of Christ. You know, while I'm talking, I'm thinking the love of Christ was so clearly displayed when he met the Samaritan woman at the well. She was an adulterer. She had many husbands. God knew that. And yet he spoke to her. He told her, go, sin no more. But he didn't condemn her. You see, we should not be condemning people. Within the church, yes, we can correct, because I, as a believer, am fully okay with it if my behavior is not correct. That someone of my faith goes to the Bible and says to me, brother, these are things that you are doing that are not biblical. And if I listen, he's gained me back. If I don't, then we go to a couple of more people and we do it again. In that way we keep each other on the straight and narrow path that is Jesus. But people outside the faith community, outside the church, they don't believe the Bible. They don't believe in it. They have no grounding in the Bible. So the only way I can see that I need to talk to them is by showing Christ's love. I am going to not speak out against their sin because they don't think it's sin. They just think I'm hateful because I'm condemning their behavior. I don't want to do that. I want to gain them. I don't want to lose them. This does not mean that I condone their lifestyle, I condone their sin. I don't at all. But if I start out with that, I'm going to lose them. I would much rather approach them with love. I met someone this week. He's married to a man. And when he saw that I was a Christian, because I have a whole lot of cross tattoos and stuff like that, I could see him withdraw and kind of get back on his, kind of get very wary of speaking to me, because obviously he's been judged for his lifestyle often by Christians. And that struck me. He says, if I'm a Christian, I want to share the gospel with this guy, but I don't think he's going to listen to me, not yet. So I just did the things he had asked me to do. I helped him do things without showing any judgment on my face. My heart was breaking because I know that there's so much better available for him. But I cannot antagonize him. I cannot speak to him about the gospel until he trusts that I have his best interests at heart. The Bible tells us to see other people more than ourselves. And I think that means we need to put our egos in our pockets. And treat people like Jesus would treat them. I mean, Jesus went to the tax collectors. He went to the prostitutes. He did not judge them. He loved them. We need to do the same. You know, the president and founder of my motorcycle club often says something that really means a lot. He says, love God, love people. That's it. There's no other qualifications there. Don't love them only because they act a certain way. Don't love them because they have a certain color, or they have a certain outlook on life that's the same as yours. It's just love people. It's hard. We cannot as humans do that because we want to stay with our tribe. But we need to love people. All people. It's not some people, it's all people. Because all people, every single human being on this earth, without exception, is made in the image of God. So I don't care how much hurt they got. I don't care how much they hate us. I don't care. We just love them. Can we defend ourselves and protect ourselves from evil people? By all means, do it. But not all people are evil. There are people in this world that have evil intent. But even those people should be loved. So although I do not agree on one thing that the Black Lives Movement stands for, I do have love for their founders, because there's hurt, there's longing, there's something there that needs God. And what I will do is pray against any kind of demonic oppression, because that's where our fight is. Our fight is not against physical stuff. Our fight is against the principalities and strongholds of the enemy, of Satan. Now, Satan's not all-knowing, so not everything is his fault. But he has a willing ally. He has a willing ally in our flesh. And he will come at us with lies. And the only counter to him is Jesus. And Jesus has already beaten him 2,000 years ago. That argument was settled 2,000 years ago. So that's where our fight is, against the evil of Satan and his minions. Love people, love God. Being a Christian, not easy being obedient to God's commands, but it is possible, because all things are possible through Him. All things are possible in Christ. And so, as we have been shown grace by God, let us show grace to everybody. Let us not argue and fight, but let us rather just spread the gospel. There are times when I see something on Facebook and I type out a response, yay long, just to bash the argument and to attack the person, and then God says, hey, delete it. That's not what I want you to say. Let our words be sprinkled like salt to flavor food. Let our words be sprinkled with love, not condemnation. Let our words bring people back to the Lord, or lead them and show them that most awesome free gift that is salvation in Christ Jesus. Everybody has a deep longing for Him. Some people just don't know it. Some people are filling it with stuff other than Christ. Let's help them find the true fulfillment of that longing. May the Lord bless you and keep you. May the Lord make His face to shine upon you and be gracious to you. May the Lord turn His countenance upon you and give you peace. This is Vitamin out.
Hello, if you liked the video, please do me a solid and subscribe, like, and share. Thank you and God bless.